Cool, technical difficulties. Alright, well, hopefully that doesn't keep happening. I'm not sure what the problem was, but I've switched to my cell service instead of the Wi-Fi here at the apartment, so we'll see if that fixes things. I'm going to go ahead and get started. So here's the Euro USD chart, and the first thing is I want to kind of talk about just how the system works, and then I will go through my charts and see if there are any trades that I need to take for the day, and if so, I will show you how I take them. If not, I'll still show you how I take them. I just won't actually, click buy or sell. So first off, obviously we have the candlesticks, red for bearish, green for bullish. I have a couple of things on the actual chart, and then I've got a bunch of indicators, so I will just kind of walk through them one at a time and tell you what they do. So first I'll go through this SSL channel chart alert indicator. That is what I use as my main confirmation. So that basically, if it flips, it tells me to either go long or go short. So here right now, this is flipped with the red on top, which means it's a short. So that's my main one that I'm looking for when I first open a chart, is to see if any of those have flipped on the last day's candle. So I'm on the daily charts. So this one has just flipped. Normally that's exactly what we're looking for, but I'll show you why I'm not going to be taking that trade here in a minute. The second thing that we have on here is just a normal 20 SMA. And that's what I'm using as my baseline. That's kind of the last step though, so I'll just come back to that one. Next is the ADX, and this probably looks nothing like the ADX that you guys have been using, and I'll show you why that is. For the parameters, I turned it blue. I turned the plus DI and the minus DI to none because I don't care about those lines. And then I added a 20 level dotted line in white, and the way that I use this is kind of as a volume indicator. If the blue line is above the white line, then it's okay to take a trade. If it is below the white dotted line, then I don't take a trade. So that just means that the volume has not been high enough, or the trend isn't strong enough for me to take that trade. Underneath that, we have the absolute strength histogram. I got rid of the actual histogram part by turning the 0 and the 1 to none, and I left the other two so that we essentially just have a 2 lines cross indicator. This one works very similarly to the SSL channel chart alert indicator, in that if the red line is above the blue line, that indicates that the bears have the market. If it's the opposite, then the bulls have the market. So if I get a signal here to go short, and the red line here is above the blue line, then I can still go short. That is an indicator that just helps me make sure that I'm in the right trend. And the settings that I use for this one are inputs. The length is 14, the smooth is 2. I don't think those are the defaults. I think you'll have to change it to those, but I'm not sure what the defaults are. So there you go. None of these others have changed, just those two. And then everything else is pretty much the default setting there. Underneath that, I have the Wada Atar Explosion. This one essentially works as a third confirmation indicator / volume indicator. That's one thing that's a little bit different from VP's method. If you know who NoNonsenseForex is, he only uses 2 confirmation indicators and 1 volume indicator. I kind of use 2.5 confirmation indicators and 1.5 volume indicators. So this one kind of doubles as both. With this one, what we're looking for is for either the green or the red histogram to be above this brown line. So for this example, we got a signal to go short here because the SSL flipped. The red line on the ASH is above the blue line, so that's good. We see that the blue line here is above the white dotted line, so that's good. But here we have not had a red histogram above the brown line, so that means that we don't take a trade. And then oh yeah, let me go over the settings on this one because they are not default, I think. The sensitivity is at 150 and the dead zone pip is 30. Those may be the defaults, but I'm not 100% sure. Everything else is pretty much default except I've turned all of the alerts off because alerts are annoying. Alright, and then the last one I have down here is the Relative Vigor Index, or RVI. That is what I use to tell me when to exit a trade. So if I am in a short and the green line passes above the red line and closes, then I exit that trade. Until I am in a trade, I don't care what this one does. This one doesn't help me enter, it only helps me to exit. And then the last thing I have on here is the ATR, which tells me the average number of pips that the candles have moved over a period of 14 candles. So that's just to help me with money management, and I'll kind of explain that here in a bit. And then the last thing that we have is the baseline, which is this 20 SMA. What I'm looking for there is that when I get a signal to go short, I want the candle that I have gone short on to close below the baseline. And if I get a long signal, I want it to have closed above the baseline. So for example, here, it closed above, or it closed below. We get a short signal here. Let's see if it quite lines up. Looks like the red on the ASH is just above the blue, so that looks good. And we do get a red histo above the brown line here. So it looks like everything lines up for sell here. And so I would have taken that trade. You see we get a little bit of pullback, and then eventually it does take a pretty deep dive. So that would have been a good trade. That would have been a winner. One other thing that we use the baseline for is when we are entering a trade, we want the candle that we're getting the signal on to close less than the ATR at that time frame away from the baseline. So that was about 28 pips, and the ATR on that candle was, let's see, somewhere around 40. So that would have been within that range. So that would have still kept us in that trade. So there you go. And that one would have been a winner. Now this one right here, there are two reasons we wouldn't have taken a long here. The volume wasn't there on this candle, and the candle didn't close above the baseline. It's really close, but when it's really close like that, I tend to stay away from those trades. We see that we do have confirmation here and here, but since we don't have the volume here, and since it didn't close here, we would not have taken that trade. I normally give it one candle to fix itself. Here, on this next candle, everything looks good, except we still don't have the volume that we need here. So I still wouldn't have gotten in it there. And after that second candle, I don't pay attention to any more signals that we get here. So I wouldn't have gotten in there, and that's good because we wouldn't have made any money off of that. Here we wouldn't have gotten in because, again, we didn't get the candle to close above the baseline, even though it looks like almost everything else lined up. Maybe not the Wada Atar. But yeah, that's how the system works. Now let's see if we have any trades to take. So I've already told you why I'm not taking a trade here. We don't have the Wada Atar giving us a good signal, so we don't worry about the Euro USD today. This one, we don't have a signal close, so we ignore that. This is a trade that I'm already in, so I can just kind of briefly go over how I took this one and what's gone on with this trade since I opened it. So I saw that the candle here closed below the baseline, and we got the short signal on the SSL. And as you can see, the red ASH line is above. We got a slight red histo above the brown line here, and we've got the volume here. So I took the trade, I opened up 2 positions and set a take profit on one at 1 times the ATR at that candlestick, which would have been 84 pips. So we were looking at a take profit 84 pips away from entry. We hit that pretty early on. I think we hit that the next day. So that first position closed out. Once that first position closed out, I moved the stop loss, which was originally set at 1.5 times the ATR. I moved that stop loss to break even, and then set a trailing stop of 1 times the ATR in pips, which again, that was 84 pips. So I set an 84 pip trailing stop, and that has just kind of been following it down. Right now, it looks like we're still in the trend, and we're not getting an exit signal from the RVI. So I don't do anything with this. I just let this run. It's already made profit because it closed out that first position. So now we are just letting this thing ride out as long as it wants to go. I don't set any sort of take profit on the second position because I don't want to limit my upside. So that's how that works. So that's that trade. Let's see. Not getting a signal on this yet, although it looks like it's coming back up. So we may see something here in the next couple of days. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. All right, this is another trade that I entered. This is the Euro GBP. This one, let's see. This one has also hit its first take profit level, and again, I set the trailing stop, so it's just following it all the way up as far as it goes. No signal, no signal. This one I think I did take when it got here. Just barely. That volume was really close on the ADX, but it does look like it was just barely above it. So I took that trade. That one actually came back and hit my trailing stop, so I'm no longer in this one. I think that one closed out yesterday. I think that hit the trailing stop from before. So this one is one of the signals that I've taken from the group. So this is the Euro Yen. We'll see if this one comes back up and starts doing things. I've been holding this one for a couple of days and haven't seen anything happen with it yet. All right, let's see. This one's been the best trade I've taken on this one so far. This one is up almost 300 pips from my original entry, and you can see it has just kept going down. So I am just in this as long as it continues to go in that direction. Let's see, nothing. This one is the AUD NZD signal that I sent out the other day. As you can see, it has done almost nothing since we entered, so sometimes that's just how it goes. We'll see if this one continues to go our way or if it pulls back. With this trade, since this one hasn't gone anywhere, really want to pay close attention to the RVI because most of the time this indicator will get me out of the trade before it hits my stop loss. And since my stop loss is farther away than my take profit is, we definitely want to get out of trades before it hits that stop loss, but that's just there in case we get a giant candle go the opposite direction. Let's see, that's AUD-CAD, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. This is another one of the trades. This is the AUD JPY. Again, we're just kind of waiting on it to come back up. This is another one of the M15 signals, I think. Oh, here we go. So, we're getting a signal to go long here on the confirmation indicator, the first confirmation indicator. However, I know that this candle is for today, so I'm not going to enter this trade. We are just waiting to see what this candle does. I will come back tomorrow and we may indeed have a signal then, because it looks like volume should be good. Looks like the ASH is probably going to cross over, and we are already really close on the Wada Atar. So this one may be a buy sometime tomorrow. We'll see. I'll check back in before session close, and we'll see where that one's at. It also has to cross over and close above this moving average. So hopefully we see enough upward momentum that it does that, and then we'll be able to take that trade. All right, here is another one of I think this is the Nautilus signal. This is the Euro New Zealand dollar. Again, we're still kind of waiting on it to do something. It hasn't ever really hit it's not really come too close to the stop loss, so I'm fine riding that out. All right, let's see. Okay, all right, here's an example of a trade that we will be taking. So I'll show you exactly how I do this and why. So this one, we see that we get a short signal on the SSL. The candle did close below the moving average. The volume is there. We have the signal confirmed on the ASH, and we just have a tiny little bit of the histogram peaking above there. So I'm going to go ahead and take this trade. All right, so now that I'm ready to take a trade, I look over here to the position size indicator. This helps me set my take profits and my stop losses, as well as give me a volume at which to take these trades. This is a custom indicator, so you'll have to download it, but it's very easy to find. I've already linked it several times on the Discord page, but I can do that again if you guys need me to. However, this is best used right before session close, around like 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, and since it's not that time, I'm going to have to do things a little differently. So for the most part, I'm going to ignore this right now, but this is wonderful to use anytime you're right at session close, because this will give you exactly what you need to know. All right, so we are going to go short. I am going to abide by the volume that it tells me to take. I'm going to be taking 2 positions. So let's go ahead and do that. So there's 1, there's 2. And now I am going to add stop losses and take profits. So for that, like I said, I use the ATR. So we're going to go down here to the ATR, and let's actually make this easier to see where exactly we were at yesterday, because that's the candle that we're basing all of this off of. We were at 74 pips on the ATR. So our stop loss is going to be 1.5 the ATR, and our take profit is just 1 times the ATR. And let's see, so we are at, I'm going to base this off of the current price since it's already retraced a little bit. We're getting in at a better price. So let's see, I'm going to have to do some math in my head, so bear with me here. All right, I'll do the math on this. I'm running out of power on my phone, which is doing this video. I'll post the rest of the take profits and stop losses on the signals page. I'm gonna real quick just go through and see if there are any other signals before we end this thing, and then I will see you guys later. Let's see, nothing there, nothing there. Still no signal there. And I think this one was another one that came back and hit my trailing stop, because I did get into GBP CAD the other day. And I think this one, let's see, I should have taken that. I think I did. I think that one has closed out too. I'd have to go back through my history to see, but oh no, because I would have gotten in there and that wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, all right. So this one did not close below this baseline, so I wouldn't have entered there. I would have given it a day and entered there. I'm not sure why I didn't, but it doesn't look like I did. And then last but not least, Nzd Chf. All right, so we really only took one trade today, and that's not really that crazy. And that's how the system works. So let me head back on over to Twitch and just see if, oh God. All right, let me look through these comments real quick and see if there are any questions. If you think of any questions, I will try to get to them. And then once I've answered all the questions, we will just kind of end this thing. All right, let's see. Hopefully that works. Let's see. Okay. Oh, as far as this program that I'm using, this is just MT4. I have a lot of things different than the default settings. I like the black background without the grid, and I like the candlesticks to look this way. It's really easy for me to see what I need to see, and it doesn't clutter up the screen, because if I add the grid back in, that's just too many lines, and I can't stand looking at all that. So I'll get rid of that, and then I can show you my exact properties set up if you really want, but as far as the indicators go, hopefully I've gone through all the settings that you need there, but if not, I can post those on the Discord group too. Let's see, any other questions? Yes, all right. I can post my inputs for the indicators on Discord. Let's see. Yeah, so ideally this system is really, I mean, you should be able to essentially just copy and paste all my settings on here. Some of these indicators are custom indicators, so you may have to download those, but I can, if I can't provide download links, I can at least tell you where to go to look for them. And because I know this is going to be a question, this video should post on my Twitch page. I've got it set up to where it just saves those. The exit indicator is the relative volume index, I think. Vigor, relative vigor index. And that is a standard indicator. That should come standard with your MT4. The ones that come standard that I'm actually using are the RVI, the ADX, which is the average directional movement index, and then the SMA that I'm using as a baseline. The ASH, the Wada Atar explosion, and the SSL, I believe I had to download all of those. And then the position size indicator, I had to download that. And then the ATR, the average true range, is another one that just comes built in. I really only have this one on the charts because I can't always be here at 4:30 right before session change. In fact, I usually can't. So this just helps me go back to the ATR of the previous candle in case I'm getting here late, because then some of the settings on here aren't going to be right. So that's why I have that there. Okay, let's see. All right, are there any other questions before we call it a night, or are we good? Hopefully y'all could hear everything. Get to see a little bit of the lag on the, the video here. You're beautiful too, Taryn. I miss your fuzzy face. Dapper Beard, I am on the daily time frame. I have tested this system. I built an expert advisor that I use to test the system and just give me kind of a vague understanding of how well it does in the past. But there are some new things that I'm going to be doing with it that I really can't do in the EA or haven't figured out how to do yet. So I'll try to do that in the future, but I have tested this with the EA on lower time frames, and it has not really worked as well. So, I mean, VP says that indicators tend to work best on the daily time frame, and in my experience, that has held true. So, and this is a purely indicator-based chart. It tells you exactly what to do and when. You just have to know the rules. So the idea that with that being that this is a purely emotion-free trading system that is profitable. So yeah, no extra thinking goes into it. You just have to follow the rules to the letter, and it will make you money. Ideally. Again, I've been testing this only live this past week, and so far I have had, let's see, I've got 3 trades that have already hit take profit. I have 1 that is in less than 100 pips profit. No, less than 10 pips profit. Yeah, this thing has not moved hardly at all. The one that I took just now, so we'll see how that goes. And then I had 1 that my exit indicator told me to get out of, and that one did not even make it to, it was, I think, maybe halfway to stop loss. So that got me out before it cost me as much as it could have. And that's why it's there. Let's see. And then the rest of all, these 3 have already hit take profits, and we are just riding them out. The yellow right here just means that that is a trailing stop. You can see this one, I took all of these with just the small micro lot. This one's already up almost 300 pips. We're at 289 essentially. And this one's up 130. This one's up almost 170 pips right now. So, and this is a small account size. So, yeah, if you got a bigger account size, then you'd be looking at really big numbers right there. And then all of my negative trades are signals from the group page. So hopefully those turn around. We'll see how that goes. But cool. All right. Well, I don't think anyone else has any other questions. Nick, I definitely think we should have a drum off one day. Hopefully you'll be at the cookout this weekend. I'm going to try to make it. But yeah, cool. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that, and I will see you in the next one.